Look around you. Every person in this room is carrying something that no one else can see. Some of you are carrying dreams so big they keep you up at night. Some of you are carrying scars so heavy they make you question if you'll ever rise. But here's the truth. It's not your background, not your money, not your connections, not even your talent that's going to decide how high you go. It's your attitude. Attitude is the difference between a wall and a window. It's the lens that turns setbacks into setups, obstacles into opportunities, and losses into lessons. Two people can face the same storm. One gets buried, the other gets built. The storm isn't the difference. The difference is the attitude they walked in with. See, life is going to test you. Life is going to push you. Life is going to ask you, how bad do you really want to climb? And the answer won't come from what you say. It'll come from what you carry in your spirit every single day. That's what determines altitude. Mindset is the foundation of everything. It's the silent architect of your future, the invisible force shaping every move you make. Before you even put a plan on paper, before you even take the first step, it's your mindset that decides how far you'll go. You can have all the resources in the world, but if your attitude isn't lined up with vision and belief, you won't build anything that lasts, and you can have almost nothing. No money, no connections, no opportunities. But if your mindset is sharp and focused, you can create doors where none existed. That's why mindset is the blueprint. It lays out the structure for your altitude long before the world ever sees it. When you carry the right mindset, every situation becomes material you can use. A closed door doesn't look like rejection anymore. It looks like redirection. A failure doesn't look like the end anymore. It looks like training. A delay doesn't feel like punishment. It feels like preparation. Mindset is what takes those raw, unpolished moments in life and turns them into building blocks. Without the right mindset, those same moments just break you down. Two people can face the same problem. One sees it as the end, the other sees it as the beginning. The difference isn't luck, talent, or timing. The difference is attitude. Your mindset determines how you interpret reality. If your mindset is rooted in negativity, you'll always find reasons why things won't work. You'll always see obstacles bigger than opportunities. But when your mindset is rooted in growth, discipline, and resilience, you flip the script. You start seeing reasons why you can't lose even when the odds are stacked against you. You start seeing problems as puzzles, not prisons. You start seeing the long game instead of getting stuck in the moment. This shift in perspective is the foundation for your altitude, because the higher you climb, the more challenges you face. Without the right mindset, those challenges will crush you. With the right mindset, those challenges become part of your story. And mindset isn't just about positive thinking. It's deeper than that. It's about the way you structure your habits, your discipline, your self-belief. A blueprint doesn't just outline what something will look like. It gives instructions on how it's built. In the same way, your mindset doesn't just inspire you, it directs you. It tells you what to focus on, what to ignore, what to sacrifice, what to protect. If your mindset blueprint is weak, your structure collapses the moment life applies pressure. If your mindset blueprint is strong, your structure holds steady no matter what storms come. A powerful mindset also changes how you handle time. Some people move with a short-term mindset. They want fast results, instant gratification, overnight success. But when you operate like that, you build shallow foundations. You might rise for a moment, but you won't stay elevated. A blueprint rooted in short-term thinking doesn't plan for endurance. It only plans for appearance. The altitude it creates is temporary. But when your mindset blueprint is designed for the long game, you move with patience and consistency. You're not chasing the next high, you're building brick by brick. You're thinking about what will stand 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. That type of mindset creates altitude that lasts. Another piece of the blueprint is resilience. Life is unpredictable. Plans fall apart, people betray you, opportunities vanish. Storms come without warning. If your mindset blueprint doesn't include resilience, you'll fold every time things don't go your way. But when resilience is baked into your attitude, you can bend without breaking. You can stumble without staying down. You can lose without being lost. That's the real blueprint of elevation, not perfection, but resilience. Because altitude isn't about never falling. It's about always rising again. Mindset is also about vision. You can't build what you can't see. A blueprint always has a design, an image of what the finished structure will be. Your mindset has to carry the same kind of vision. You have to be able to see yourself beyond your current situation, beyond your current limits, beyond your current struggles. If your vision is small, your altitude will be small. If your vision is limited today, your growth will end today. But if your vision is expansive, if you believe in something larger than yourself, your blueprint will stretch higher. Your altitude will match the scale of your vision. What's even more powerful is that mindset is contagious. The energy you carry spreads to the people around you. If you walk into a room with defeat in your attitude, others will feel it. If you walk into a room with belief and purpose, others will feel that too. That's why it matters so much to protect your mindset. You can't let just anyone influence your blueprint because their energy will shape how you think. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you, and push you to see bigger. Stay away from people who only reinforce limits. Your altitude is directly tied to people feeding your mindset. At the core, mindset is choice. You can choose to see limits or opportunities. You can choose to see problems or possibilities. You can choose to focus on what you don't have, or you can focus on what you can create with what you do have. That choice becomes your blueprint. That choice decides your altitude. Resilience is the fuel that takes you higher when everything around you is pulling you down. Life doesn't hand out clean runways for you to take off from. Most of the time, you're starting from rough ground, heavy storms, and unexpected turbulence. The difference between people who rise and people who stay stuck isn't about who faces more struggle. It's about who decides to keep moving through it. Resilience is that decision. It's the attitude that says, no matter how many times I fall, I'm not staying down. It's what turns pain into progress and setbacks into setups for something greater. Without resilience, altitude is temporary. With resilience, altitude is inevitable. The truth is, everyone wants to climb, but not everyone wants to go through the process of falling and getting back up. Elevation isn't a smooth ride. It comes with pressure, resistance, and moments that test how bad you really want it. Resilience is what answers those tests. When the job falls through, when the relationship ends, when the money dries up, when the people you counted on disappear, resilience is the voice that says, I'm still here and I'm not done yet. It's not glamorous. It doesn't always look strong in the moment. Sometimes resilience is quiet. Sometimes it's just taking one step when you feel like giving up. But every time you practice resilience, you're building altitude, because every bounce back takes you higher than you were before. Resilience shapes the way you see failure. A fragile attitude looks at failure as proof that you're not good enough. A resilient attitude looks at failure as a teacher. Every mistake becomes information. Every rejection becomes redirection. Every loss becomes a lesson. That's how resilience creates elevation. It doesn't let you stay trapped in the moment of falling. It forces you to analyze, adapt, and rise again with more knowledge, more strength, more clarity. Without resilience, failure becomes final. With resilience, failure becomes fuel. And resilience isn't just about the big, dramatic moments in life. It's about the daily grind. It's about choosing to stay committed when progress feels invisible. It's about pushing through fatigue, doubt, and boredom. It's about showing up on the days when motivation is gone. That's where resilience proves its value, because anyone can keep going when things are easy. The test of your altitude is what you do when things are heavy. When you can't see results, but you keep building. When you can't see the light, but you keep walking. When everything in you says quit, but something stronger in you says keep going. That's resilience, and that's how you rise. Resilience also protects your vision from being crushed by outside voices. People will doubt you, criticize you, laugh at you, and even root for your failure. If your attitude isn't resilient, their voices become louder than your own. You start believing them instead of believing yourself. But a resilient attitude builds a wall against that noise. It lets you hear the doubt but not accept it. It lets you feel the criticism but not be defined by it. It allows you to keep moving even when no one else understands why you're still trying. That resilience is what separates dreamers from doers, because anyone can dream, but only the resilient fight through the resistance to turn it real. Another layer of resilience is patience. Sometimes the hardest part of elevation isn't the struggle, it's the waiting. You can do all the work, put in all the hours, and still not see immediate results. That's when impatience kills people's momentum. They quit too soon because they thought elevation should be instant. But resilience includes the patience to keep pushing without evidence. It's believing in your process even when the payoff hasn't shown up yet. That kind of resilience builds altitude brick by brick until suddenly the breakthrough comes. And when it does, you realize it was all those patient, resilient moments that carried you to that height. Resilience also builds character. Struggle reveals what you're really made of. Anybody can smile when life is easy, but resilience is forged in the fire. Every storm you survive makes you stronger, sharper, wiser. It strips away illusions and excuses, and it leaves you with raw strength. That strength becomes part of your altitude. It's not just about how high you go, it's about how solid you are when you get there. People who rise without resilience can't stay elevated because they don't have the character to hold that altitude. But when your climb is built on resilience, your foundation is unshakable. You've been through too much to be easily broken. Resilience isn't about being unhurt. It's about refusing to be unmoved. You might cry, you might stumble, you might doubt yourself, but you still rise. That's the beauty of resilience. It doesn't require perfection. It requires persistence. It allows you to be human and strong at the same time. And every time you refuse to quit, your altitude increases. You might not notice it immediately, but step by step, bounce back by bounce back, you're climbing higher than you ever thought possible. That's why resilience is the true measure of elevation. Talent can take you up for a moment. Luck can lift you for a season. But only resilience can carry you to heights that last, because life will test you again and again, and the only people who keep rising are the ones who keep getting up. Resilience is the core of altitude, because it doesn't matter how many times you fall. What matters is how many times you decide to rise again. Energy is like currency. It's the invisible resource you're spending every single day, And it's the return on that energy that shapes your life. The attitude you carry is the charge behind that energy, and the outcomes you see in your reality are the reflection of that charge. If you walk with negativity, doubt, and fear, that's the current you're sending out, and it pulls situations that match it. But if your energy is rooted in discipline, focus, and belief, you start attracting opportunities, people, and results that align with it. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's the natural law of alignment. What you carry within you sets the tone for what shows up around you. Think about how energy shifts a room. You've seen someone walk in with a defeated spirit, and suddenly the whole space feels heavy. You've seen someone else enter with confidence and focus, and the atmosphere lifts. That's how energy works. It doesn't just live inside you, it radiates outward. It influences the people you meet, the opportunities you touch, the way doors open or stay closed. Outcomes aren't random. They're often a reflection of the vibration you bring into every interaction. Carry tired, unfocused, negative energy, and the outcomes you attract will look the same. Carry energy that's locked on growth and purpose, and the outcomes you attract will move you higher. Energy also dictates how people respond to you. People are drawn to strength, vision, and confidence. They invest in people who radiate belief. They follow leaders who walk with conviction. They trust those whose energy communicates consistency. If your attitude is shaky, your energy communicates doubt, and others sense it even before you say a word. But when your energy is solid, people feel it and they align with it. This is why so many outcomes in life aren't just about what you do, but how you carry yourself while doing it. Energy is silent communication. It speaks louder than words, and it shapes the way the world interacts with you. Outcomes also depend on how you direct your own energy. You only have so much to give every day, and if your attitude spends it all on negativity, gossip, or distractions, you'll never have enough left to build elevation. Energy is like water. You can waste it leaking everywhere, or you can channel it with focus and watch it power something big. The more disciplined your attitude, the more intentional your energy, and the more powerful the outcomes. When you decide not to waste energy on things that don't serve your vision, you start seeing the results that do. Another layer is that energy isn't just about what you give out, it's also about what you accept. If you let toxic energy live in your space, it contaminates your outcomes. If you surround yourself with people whose energy is rooted in limits, laziness, or excuses, you'll eventually reflect it. That's why protecting your energy is as important as projecting it. Your outcomes will always mirror the energy you allow yourself to live in. If you build your circle with people who radiate focus, drive, and positivity, your outcomes will rise to match it. If you stay around those who drain you, you'll stay grounded. Energy is contagious, and outcomes follow the dominant current in your environment. Energy also connects deeply with persistence. When you carry weak energy, you quit easily. You can't withstand resistance because your charge runs out too quickly. But when your energy is fueled by the right attitude, belief, resilience, hunger, you keep moving even when things get tough. That sustained energy attracts long-term outcomes. It's easy to push for a moment, but outcomes that elevate you require sustained power. That's where discipline in your attitude shows up. If you let excuses and doubt drain your battery, you won't last. If you feed your energy with focus and consistency, you'll attract results that others never reach because they gave up too soon. Energy shapes perception too. If you believe something is impossible, your energy toward it is weak and your actions follow. You won't put in the extra effort. You won't look for hidden opportunities, and your outcome will prove your belief. But if your attitude is that anything is possible with work and vision, your energy fuels persistence, your eyes stay open to possibilities, and your outcome proves your belief as well. It's not about forcing outcomes. It's about aligning your energy so that the actions you take, the people you meet, and the opportunities you attract all move in the same direction. And the truth is, energy doesn't lie. You can't fake it for long. If you pretend to be confident, but inside you're insecure, it will show. If you talk disciplined but live, sloppy, it will show. Your outcomes won't be fooled because they're built on the real current you carry, not the one you try to display. That's why developing the right attitude matters so much. It builds authentic energy. When your belief is real, your energy is undeniable. When your focus is consistent, your energy is magnetic. When your attitude is grounded in growth, your energy creates outcomes that keep stacking higher and higher. Energy is movement. It's the force that takes your vision from your head into the real world. Without energy, a dream stays a dream. With energy aligned to purpose, a dream becomes reality. Every outcome you've ever achieved, good or bad, started with energy. What you put into the situation, what you allowed into your space, what you radiated out to the world. If you want to elevate your altitude, the first place to check is the energy you're carrying daily. Because outcomes don't come from what you say you want, they come from the current you're giving off and the consistency of how you sustain it. Vision is the engine behind your attitude. It's the picture you hold in your mind of what life can be, and it's that picture that decides how you move, how you respond, and how you carry yourself through challenges. Without vision, your attitude has nothing to anchor to. Without a clear sense of where you're going, your energy scatters, your focus drifts, and your actions become reactive instead of intentional. But when you carry vision, your attitude aligns with it, and everything about the way you live starts to move in that direction. Vision isn't just about seeing something better, it's about believing in it so deeply that your entire mindset shifts to match it. When vision is strong, It changes the way you handle obstacles. Most people see problems as roadblocks, but vision allows you to see problems as part of the process. If you can already picture yourself elevated, then setbacks don't shake you as much. They might slow you down, but they don't stop you because your vision tells you the destination hasn't changed. It's like having a compass in the middle of a storm. The storm might blind you for a while, but if your compass is locked on north, you can keep moving. That compass is your vision, and it fuels an attitude that won't quit no matter how rough things get. Vision also fuels sacrifice. A lot of people say they want success, but their attitude shows otherwise because they're not willing to give up distractions, comfort, or temporary pleasures. But when you have vision, your attitude naturally adjusts. You're willing to let go of what doesn't serve you because the picture of what you're chasing is so much greater. You can say no to the party, the shortcut, the easy road because your vision fuels a bigger yes. That yes is to your future, to your purpose, to your elevation. Vision gives meaning to discipline, and discipline is what shapes attitude into something unshakable. Vision also shapes resilience. If you can't see beyond your current pain, you let it define you. If all you see is the weight of your struggle, your attitude will be heavy, bitter, and defeated. But when vision is alive inside you, pain doesn't feel permanent. You see yourself beyond it. You see the mountaintop even while you're stuck in the valley, and that image keeps you moving. Resilience is stronger when it's tied to vision, because you're not just surviving the moment, you're building toward the future you already see. That's why some people collapse under pressure while others rise. The ones who rise had a vision that pulled their attitude through the fire. Vision also fuels confidence. Confidence isn't about arrogance or pretending you have everything figured out. It's about knowing where you're going and trusting the path. When your vision is clear, you move differently. You speak with conviction. You make decisions without hesitation. You don't waste time doubting every step because you already know what you're aiming for. That confidence comes across in your attitude, and people notice it. They trust you more. They respect you more. They're drawn to your energy because vision-backed confidence feels authentic. It's not hype, it's direction. And direction always commands attention. Another power of vision is that it stretches your mindset. If your vision is small, your attitude will be small. You only prepare for what you can see. But if your vision is big, your attitude expands to meet it. You start moving with bigger energy, bigger discipline, bigger patience. Vision forces you to grow because the future you see requires a stronger version of yourself. If you keep your vision limited, your altitude will always be limited. But if your vision is expansive, your attitude will elevate to match it and your altitude will rise with it. Vision also protects you from distractions. Without vision, every opportunity looks good, every voice sounds convincing, every setback feels like the end. But with vision, your attitude is sharper. You can tell the difference between what's aligned and what's a detour. You can tell the difference between someone who's helping you build and someone who's slowing you down. You don't get lost chasing what's shiny because your focus is on what's lasting. That focus gives your attitude clarity. And clarity is one of the most powerful tools for elevation. Vision creates endurance. There are going to be times when progress feels invisible, when all the work you're putting in doesn't seem to show any reward. If your attitude isn't fueled by vision, you'll give up in those moments. You'll convince yourself it's not worth it. But when vision is fueling you, you endure. You keep showing up even when no one claps, even when no one sees, even when nothing seems to change. You keep watering the seed because you can already see the tree it will become. That endurance makes the difference between those who almost rise and those who truly elevate. Vision even transforms how you see yourself. Without vision, you define yourself by your current situation, by your struggles, your mistakes, your limitations. But with vision, you define yourself by your potential. You start carrying yourself like the person you're becoming, not just the person you are right now. And that shift in self-image changes everything. Your attitude rises, your energy strengthens, your actions align with the future version of you. People notice the change, and opportunities start matching the level of the person you're growing into. Vision fuels legacy too. When you have vision, you stop thinking only about what you can get for yourself. You start thinking about what you can build that will last, what impact you can make, what blueprint you can leave for those coming after you. That long-term vision fuels an attitude that doesn't settle for temporary wins. It pushes you to create something permanent, and that's the kind of altitude that outlives you. Consistency is the real measure of power. Anyone can show up strong once, anyone can put in work for a short time, anyone can get motivated for a moment. But altitude doesn't come from a moment, it comes from momentum. It's not what you do occasionally that defines your rise, it's what you do repeatedly. Consistency is what compounds effort into results. It's the steady rhythm behind every breakthrough. It's the invisible grind that no one claps for, but that everyone sees the effects of later. Without consistency, talent fades, passion burns out, and vision never becomes reality. With consistency, even small efforts stack into massive outcomes. Consistency is discipline disguised as routine. It's waking up and showing up, not just when it's convenient, but when it's inconvenient. It's putting in hours when no one is watching, when no one is praising you, when no one is checking in. That's where real power is built, because motivation will always come and go. Excitement is temporary. But consistency keeps you moving long after the hype dies down. The people who achieve real altitude aren't the ones who move hardest for a short time. They're the ones who move steadily for a long time. That steady pace beats spurts of energy every single time. Consistency also builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. Every time you stick to the work, your belief in your own ability strengthens. When you're inconsistent, you teach yourself not to trust your own word. You start doubting your capacity because you've seen yourself quit too often. But when you practice consistency, your attitude shifts because you know you can rely on you. That trust is powerful because if you can rely on yourself, nothing outside of you can shake you. The power of consistency is also in how it compounds. One workout won't transform your body. One study session won't master the subject. One day of focus won't build a business. But string them together day after day and suddenly the results are undeniable. Most people give up because they don't see results quickly, but consistency works like planting seeds. You don't see growth immediately, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening. Every day of effort is watering the soil. Every day of discipline is strengthening the roots. And then one day the breakthrough shows and people call it sudden, but you know it was years of quiet consistency. Consistency separates dreamers from doers. Everyone has ideas. Everyone has goals, everyone has visions of a better life, but ideas without consistent action are just fantasies. The ones who elevate are the ones who turn daily routines into building blocks. Consistency is how you bridge the gap between vision and reality. It's how you turn what you see in your head into what exists in your life. Without it, even the greatest vision dies unfinished. With it, even an average vision grows into something extraordinary. Consistency also makes your attitude stronger because it forces you to work through the lows. When you commit to consistency, you don't wait for inspiration. You move whether you feel like it or not. That builds resilience. That builds focus. That builds an attitude that doesn't depend on circumstances but stays locked on the mission. A consistent mindset doesn't panic when progress slows because it knows that steady steps still add up. That's why consistency is power. It gives you control over your altitude instead of leaving it up to chance. Consistency also builds reputation. People respect results, but they trust consistency. When you show up over and over, people know they can count on you. That trust opens doors. Opportunities flow to those who have proven they won't waste them. A person who shows up consistently, even without the loudest talent, will be chosen over someone who shines bright once and then disappears. The world rewards reliability, and consistency is the foundation of reliability. Another aspect of consistency is mastery. Talent can give you a head start, but only consistency builds skill to its highest level. Every expert was once a beginner who just kept practicing. Every master was once a student who didn't quit. Consistency sharpens talent. It polishes rough edges. It refines effort into excellence. That's why consistency is power. It transforms what's raw into what's refined, what's possible into what's undeniable. Without it, you stay stuck in potential. With it, you grow into mastery. Consistency also fights against doubt. When you're inconsistent, doubt creeps in easily because you never give yourself proof of progress. But when you're consistent, you collect evidence every day that you're moving forward. Even if it's slow, the proof is there, and that evidence builds belief. That belief strengthens attitude. That attitude fuels more consistency. It becomes a cycle of growth that keeps pushing you higher. Doubt loses its grip when consistency is present because you can point to the work you've done and know for sure you're not standing still. Consistency even outlasts failure. Everyone fails, everyone stumbles, but consistency means you get back up and keep working. Failure doesn't break consistent people because their focus isn't on one attempt, it's on the process. They know one setback doesn't erase the pattern. That's what makes consistency such a powerful force for altitude. It makes your progress unstoppable. You may be delayed, but you're never defeated because as long as you keep moving, your elevation is inevitable. Consistency is also contagious. When people see you showing up every day, sticking to your word, holding your standards inspires them. Your energy becomes an example. Your discipline becomes proof. That influence multiplies your altitude because now you're not only lifting yourself, but also lifting others who witness your consistency. And when a team or community moves with that steady rhythm, the outcomes are limitless. When we talk about how attitude determines your altitude, the idea of legacy over limits is one of the most powerful truths you can embrace. Limits are everywhere in life. They can be physical, financial, emotional, or mental. Sometimes they're put on us by society. Sometimes they come from our circumstances, and a lot of times they come from inside our own heads. But the real difference between staying stuck at those limits and breaking through them comes down to attitude. Your attitude is what tells you whether a limit is permanent or whether it's just a checkpoint that you can push past. Think about it, limits are temporary, but legacy is permanent. Legacy isn't about the car you drive, the chain you wear, or even the title you hold. Those things fade with time. Legacy is about what you build that continues to live beyond you. It's about the people you impact, the systems you create, the blueprint you leave behind for others to follow. And to reach that level of influence, your attitude has to be wired toward growth, vision, and discipline. If your mindset is locked on your immediate limits, you'll never elevate to the point where you can leave a mark. But if your attitude is rooted in legacy, every obstacle becomes a step toward building something greater than yourself. When your attitude is legacy-driven, you start moving differently. You don't chase every distraction. because you know it doesn't align with the bigger picture. You don't waste time proving yourself to doubters because your focus is on proving your vision to reality. You don't get caught in temporary wins because you're working for permanent impact. That's how altitude gets determined, not just how far you can go in the moment, but how far your work and influence carry after you're gone. A legacy mindset means you don't let limits define your story. You might be limited in money today, but your attitude can push you to learn skills that create wealth tomorrow. You might be limited by your environment, but your attitude can push you to rise above it, to see opportunity where others see struggle. You might be limited by people doubting you, but your attitude can push you to use that doubt as fuel. Limits are real, but they are not final. They only become final when your attitude accepts them as the ceiling. Another thing about legacy is that it forces you to think long term. A lot of people move with short-term attitudes. They want everything now. They want recognition today. They want success overnight. But altitude doesn't come from rushing. It comes from consistent elevation. A short-term attitude might get you a quick win, but a legacy-driven attitude builds foundations that last. For example, you can hustle for fast money, but that doesn't build wealth for generations. You can win attention for a moment, but that doesn't mean people will respect your name in 10 years. Legacy-driven altitude comes from planting seeds, nurturing them, and being patient enough to watch them grow. This is where discipline becomes key. A lot of people have talent, but they lack the attitude of discipline to turn that talent into something that stands the test of time. Discipline is part of a legacy mindset because it means you do what's required even when you don't feel like it. It means you keep your focus steady when distractions pull at you. It means you sacrifice comfort today so you can elevate tomorrow. The higher your altitude, the greater the resistance. Without the right attitude, you'll fall back to your limits. With the right attitude, you'll push beyond them and create new heights, not just for yourself, but for everyone watching you. And that's the deeper piece. Legacy isn't only about you, it's about community. It's about what your altitude inspires in others. The right attitude doesn't just elevate your own path, it elevates the people connected to you. When people see you refusing to be defined by limits, they get inspired to challenge their own. When people see you chasing legacy instead of chasing temporary validation, they start thinking bigger too. Your altitude creates a ripple effect, and that's how legacies are built, not in isolation, but through influence. There's also a spiritual weight to legacy. Limits make you think in terms of survival. Legacy makes you think in terms of purpose. Survival says, how do I make it through this? Purpose says, how do I build something that outlives me? Your attitude towards struggle is what shifts you from survival mode into purpose mode. Struggle is inevitable, but when you see it as part of a larger story, your energy shifts. Every loss becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes a setup for growth. This is how attitude fuels altitude. It transforms every limit into a tool for legacy. Of course, none of this happens overnight. A legacy mindset requires patience. You might not see the altitude you're aiming for right away. In fact, at the beginning, it might feel like you're stuck at the ground level, but that's where attitude matters most. If you keep your attitude aligned with vision, resilience, and consistency, you'll eventually break through. And once you break through, your story becomes proof for others that limits are not final. That's when your altitude shifts into legacy, because you've shown people that it's possible to rise beyond what they thought was possible. In the end, the choice is simple. You can let limits dictate your life, or you can set your attitude on legacy and use those limits as stepping stones. One path keeps you stuck in cycles. The other elevates you to heights where your name, your work, and your influence live on. Legacy over limits, that's how your attitude determines your altitude. So when it's all said and done, altitude isn't just about talent, luck, or who you know. It's about how you choose to see, how you choose to move, and how you choose to respond when life tests you. Your mindset is the blueprint, resilience is the engine, your energy is the magnet, your vision is the compass, consistency is the power, and legacy is the destination. That's the formula for elevation. You can't control every storm, but you can control your attitude in the middle of it. You can't control every limit, but you can decide whether to let that limit define you or refine you. The truth is simple. Your altitude will always rise or fall to the level of your attitude. So the real question isn't how high can you go. The real question is how strong is the attitude you're carrying with you right now. Because if your attitude is locked on discipline, vision, resilience, and consistency, there is no ceiling, there is no limit. There is only the climb, and the climb is yours to make.